Imagine this for a moment. It's Friday evening. Something strange about modern life. Because the truth is, we now live in a world that is deeply uncomfortable with silence. Take a moment to look around your daily life. You'll probably notice something interesting. There is almost always noise filling the space around us. Restaurants play background music. Televisions run even when nobody is watching. People listen to podcasts while walking, exercising, driving, or cooking. And whenever a quiet moment appears, we often reach for our phones without even thinking, scrolling, checking notifications, watching short videos, reading messages. Our days are layered with constant stimulation. And over time, something subtle has happened. Noise stopped being optional. It became normal. Silence started to feel unusual, even suspicious. If someone spends a Friday night alone reading a book, people might ask if they're okay. If someone takes a quiet walk without headphones, others assume they must be bored. Even children who enjoy playing quietly by themselves are sometimes pushed toward activities because adults worry that solitude means something is wrong. But this reaction actually reveals more about our culture than it does about the individual. Modern society has quietly built an identity around external stimulation. Being busy signals productivity. Being socially active signals happiness. Being constantly connected signals success. In a world like this, choosing quiet can almost look rebellious. But beneath all this noise lies an important psychological truth. The absence of stimulation is not the same as emptiness, and the absence of people is not always loneliness. To understand why some people thrive in solitude while others struggle with it, we need to explore a distinction that many people overlook: the difference between loneliness and something very different called aloneness. At first glance, loneliness and being alone seem identical. Both involve physical solitude. Both involve quiet environments. But psychologically, they are very different experiences. Loneliness is painful. It happens when someone wants connection but doesn't have it. In loneliness, Silence highlights what is missing. The mind searches for conversation, reassurance, or companionship. When those things aren't there, the quiet begins to feel heavy. That's why loneliness is often described in physical terms. People say it feels like an ache, or a hollow space, or an emotional hunger. In many ways, loneliness is the psychological equivalent of starvation. The mind is craving something it cannot access. But aloneness is something very different. For people with rich inner worlds, solitude does not feel like deprivation. It feels like fullness. Instead of silence revealing emptiness, it reveals an entire landscape inside the mind. Thoughts begin unfolding. Memories surface. Ideas start connecting in unexpected ways. You might replay a conversation from years ago and suddenly understand it differently. A random idea connects to something you read last week. A simple question leads to another question. And before you know it, an hour has passed without you noticing. To someone experiencing loneliness, silence feels like sitting alone at an empty table. But to someone comfortable with aloneness, silence feels more like sitting down at a banquet of thoughts, memories, and imagination. And this difference begins to reveal something fascinating about how the brain works when the world becomes quiet. When the outside world goes silent, the brain doesn't switch off. Instead, it activates a powerful internal system known as the default mode network. This system is responsible for self-reflection, imagination, recalling memories, and thinking about the future. In other words, it powers the inner world of the mind. For some people, activating this system feels uncomfortable, but for others, it feels incredibly stimulating. Their thoughts become more vivid, ideas begin connecting, questions lead to insights, and silence becomes a space where the mind can explore freely. If your mind becomes more active when the world grows quiet, you might recognize certain patterns in your thinking. For example, you may replay conversations long after they happen, not because you're stuck in the past, but because your mind is analyzing and reorganizing experiences. You might suddenly understand the meaning behind someone's words in a completely new way. Another sign is frequent daydreaming. Your thoughts drift into imagined scenarios, philosophical questions, or creative ideas without needing any external trigger. A simple sentence in a book can open an entire chain of reflection. A random observation can turn into curiosity about how people think and behave. From the outside, this may look like quietness, but internally, it's more like a complex ecosystem of thoughts constantly evolving. Because of this internal activity, something interesting often happens during social interactions. They can feel exhausting. Not because you dislike people, but because conversations require your brain to shift attention outward. You track words, tone, expressions, and reactions while also preparing your response. All of this consumes mental energy, especially during small talk. But when conversations become meaningful, something changes. Instead of draining energy, they become energizing, because depth stimulates the mind. This is also why solitude has played such an important role in creativity throughout history. When the mind is given quiet space, thoughts begin organizing themselves. Ideas connect, insights appear. Solutions to problems often arrive during quiet walks, long showers, or moments of reflection. Solitude is not simply the absence of people. It is the presence of uninterrupted thought. And in today's world, that ability is becoming increasingly rare. But rarity often carries its own kind of strength. So if you're someone who feels comfortable sitting alone with your thoughts, there's something important to understand. There's nothing wrong with you. Human minds are not all designed the same way. Some people gain energy from constant interaction. Others gain energy from reflection, imagination, and deep thinking. And in a world that grows louder and more distracted every year, the ability to be comfortable in silence may be one of the most valuable mental skills a person can have. If this video helped put words to something you felt for a long time, I'd love to hear your experience. What does your perfect day of solitude look like? Let me know in the comments.